1 Corinthians 10 and 5. But with many of them, the Most High was not well pleased, for they were overthrown in the wilderness. All the adults were overthrown in the wilderness, except for Joshua and Caleb. He killed all the rest of the adults within a 40-year period and allowed the children of those adults to enter into the promised land. Verse 6, now these things were our examples, to the intent we should not lust after evil things, as they also lusted. See? The Old Testament is examples. We have the whole Bible, really, as an examples of what to do and what not to do, what works and what doesn't work. That's why you got to read the Bible from the point of view of finding out what works. Because that's what our ancestors did. They were quiet to the Most High. Remember when you came through for us? Remember you did this for us. Remember, remember, remember. To the Most High. Now these things were our examples, to the intent we should not lust after evil things, not follow the Most High's laws and the evil things of this world, as they also lusted. Remember, they talking about going back to Egypt to serve the Egyptians. Neither be ye idolaters, as were some of them. As it is written, the people sat down to eat and drink and rose up to play, to deal with all this idolatry. Neither let us commit a fornication, as some of them committed and fell in one day, 23,000, killed 23,000 in one day. Neither let us tempt Mashiach, as some of them also tempted and were destroyed of serpents. See? He's there. He's there. As the angel of the Most High. How many he killed? 23,000 in one day. Neither let us tempt the Mashiach, or some of them also tempted and were destroyed of serpents. He sent fiery serpents after us. Neither murmur ye, as some of them also murmured, and were destroyed of the destroyer. See? He's also called the destroyer. That's why he can come and judge and make war, because he already made war. That's why he said, come on. I mean, he said this. Understand this, people. See, people don't have the wrong perspective of who the Most High is and who a Mashiach Yahushua is. Go to Matthew the 10th chapter and 34th verse. Behold, Corinthians, they say, think not. They don't even think that I am come to send peace on earth. I came not to send peace, but a sword. See? He didn't come to send peace. He came for a sword. And when he come back, he's going to bring an actual sword. What's a sword used for? To kill. He's coming back to judge and make war. To set up righteousness on this earth. Who is coming? The destroyer. As we're reading. 1 Corinthians 10 to 10. Neither murmur ye, as some of them also murmured, and were destroyed of the destroyer. That's our power of Mashiach Yahushua. He's a destroyer. Now all these things happen unto them for examples. See? These things happen to them for examples. And they are written for our admonition. For our admonition. Today, upon whom the ends of the earth are come. The ends of the earth are come. Not during the time that we're reading here. Because we fell in 65 to 70 AD. That war that we had completed in 70 AD. We failed then. This is for us. We're in the ends of the world. Whose world? Esau's world. This is our admonition. Wherefore let him that thinketh he standeth take heed lest he fall. That's right. You better take heed. That's why you got to know of Mashiach Yahushua. through the power of the Most High in the volume of the book. Better know that. People talking about, oh, I'm gonna go to the New Testament, run to Jesus. Okay, you run to Jesus if you want to, because that God in the Old Testament is real mean. He was killing people. Look what the Mashiach Yahushua said. St. John 10:30. I and my Father are one. So you can't run from the Most High and run to a Mashiach Yahushua. You can't run to your Jesus and think that you're going to not get the wrath of the Most High, because He's going to bring it. Who's the Mashiach Yahushua? Did you understand what I just read, who He is? He is the destroyer. Point blank. He is the destroyer. All praise to the Most High. Better understand, people. First Corinthians 10:13. There have no temptation taken you, but such as is common to man. But the Most High is faithful, who will not suffer you to be tempted above that ye are able, but will with the temptation also make a way to escape, that ye may be able to bear it. Only way you're going to escape the temptation is to follow the Most High's laws. Do what He say do. The rules and regulations. That's the escape that He's going to give you. He give you opportunity to follow what's right. To be illuminated with what? His laws. To get ready for the kingdom that's prepared for us. Look what He say. Wherefore, my beloved, my dearly beloved, flee from idolatry. Got to flee from idolatry. And it's all around us. Everywhere you look. You've been programmed. You've been born into idolatry. When you stepped your foot up in the church, first time you stepped in there, you went into the idol house. Most I call them harlot houses. Understand this. Look at Psalm 78th chapter. Look at the first verse. Give ear, O my people, to my law, to the laws of the Most High. Incline your ears to the words of my mouth. We gotta listen and understand the laws of the Most High and do them. You're not going to see the kingdom without following, like it says, it's going to lead. He's the way to show us how to follow the law, which is the truth. That's going to lead to everlasting life. I will open my mouth in a parable. I will utter dark sayings of old. And this is what you're seeing happening as we reveal the parables, the riddles. We reveal the dark sayings of old. We just went through one dark saying of old and going through our deliverance from the Egyptians, going through the Red Sea, which we have heard and known, and our fathers have told us. How did they tell us? They told us through this Bible. They told us through this Bible. As we look at this Bible and we understand the words of the Most High, to know that it's His word that is true, and not what we've been programmed, how we've been programmed to think. That's why it says, look at Romans 15:4. Romans 15:4. For whatsoever things were written aforetime, that's before we were even born, were written for our learning. It was written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures, not our own mind, might have hope. We might have faith and have hope in the Most High. Believe in Him. See, this is what it's all about. But see, we have fell short because we've been programmed to think the wrong way and just follow the American way, which was a trap. It was a trap for us. And what do? At this time, this day and time, we still have a lot that we have to learn and becoming a new creature, becoming a new man, and letting go of the way we were programmed to think. if we're going to make it. If you're going to make it through, that's the only way you're going to make it, people. The only way you're going to make it. That's why it's very important that we take the time to look in the past, as we're doing, and remember our future through our past, which He's just given us ammunition. Ammunition is something to fight with. That's what I know. Ammunition, you know. So look at Psalms 102 and 18. Say, this shall be written for the generation to come, and the people which shall be created shall praise the Most High. So it's written for us, the children of Israel. We just have to look at this sincerely and not get caught up in the thinking of the way of how majority of us have been programmed to think. You know, I'll say the majority of you because I've come out of that thinking. To be able to question it, to be able to get an answer, and the answer came back right here in this Bible. And that's what I'm delivering to you, through the Spirit of the Most High. Look at Psalms 94 and 20. See, shall the throne of iniquity have fellowship with thee? So the throne of wickedness, these people that's in wickedness have fellowship with us, which frameth mischief by a law. I mean, all these laws that they set up against us. You got the United Nations. Where are we at in the United Nations as the children of Israel? We don't have a seat in the United Nations. Why not? Why don't we have a seat in the United Nations? Because everything is set up against us, the children of Israel. They frame all these laws against us. They gather themselves together against the soul of the righteous, and we're the righteous, the children of Israel, and condemn the innocent blood. They condemn the innocent blood. Pow! Hold your hands up. Pow! Hold your hands down. Pow! Condemn the innocent blood. That's why when they do it, what do they say? What's the verdict? When they kill us, what's the verdict? What's the verdict? Not guilty, not guilty, not guilty. Over and over again. We see it over and over again. Not guilty, not guilty, not guilty. So that's why, look at Psalms 50 and 16. But unto the wicked, tell you in Job 9:24, for the earth is given to the hand of the wicked. He covered the face of the judges there, if not, where and who is it? Now, I know Mashiach Abishai, he's coming back to judge and make war. And I know somebody covered up his face to say, this is who he is. They said, this is who he is. The earth is given to the hand of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges thereof, if not, where and who is he? So, the wicked, earth is given to the hand of the wicked. He covered the face of the judges thereof, if not, where and who is he? Mashiach Abishai coming to judge and make war, Revelation 19 and 11. He coming to judge and make war. They covered his face up. So that's why you see in Psalms 50:16 says, but unto the wicked, the Most High said, what hast thou to do to declare my statutes? What do they have in declaring this Bible, period? Open up this Bible, period. Or that thou shouldst take my covenant in thy mouth? Come on, how they going to take the covenant in their mouth? That's what you got to understand, so that you ain't following the wicked. Or those that's going to allow the wicked to be part of whatever it is they're doing. To bring forth the covenant that the Most High made with who? Psalms 105 and 8. He hath remembered his covenant, which is a contract agreement forever. The word which he commanded to 1,000 generations. Let's see if he made it with the heathen. Any heathen. Which covenant he made with Abraham, and his oath unto Isaac, and confirmed the same unto Jacob for a law, and to Israel, who are the 12 tribes of Israel, for an everlasting covenant. Come on. So when he's saying, what he's saying is, you got to understand that they have no right to put themselves in the position that they have put themselves in. Because it says, Psalms 50 and 16, but unto the wicked, the Most High said, what hast thou to do to declare my statutes, or that thou shouldst take my covenant, which is his contract, his agreement, in thy mouth, which he made with Abraham, who had a son named Isaac, who had a son named Jacob, who became the forefather of the 12 tribes of Israel. Why? Why he said that they have a right to bear his covenant in their mouth? You see what he's saying? Because the reason why we destroy is because we heard what they said from where? From their mouth. Their words that they said, all the way from slavery unto now. It says, seeing that thou hatest instruction, and cast my words behind thee. They casting the words of the Most High behind them. That's why you leaning on your own understanding. From what? From the way they told you to follow your heart. And now we all messed up as a people. Going back to Psalm 78 chapter. I just had to interject that because that's the problem. Regardless of how you look at it, the majority of us were raised from children. You didn't just come out of your mother's womb and you was an adult. So you was raised by your mama, your daddy, your mama, or somebody in your family. Or somebody, whether you was adopted, whatever, you were raised by this system that was set up. The curriculum that they're teaching you is from the so-called white man. These religions, they get their 501c3s and so forth from who? The so-called white man. They can't do what we're doing here because they'll take away their 501c3, their nonprofit stipulations that they're under. That's why the Most High told us in Psalm 78 and 2, I will open my mouth in a parable, in riddles. I will utter dark sayings of old, which we have heard and known, and our fathers have told us. See, our fathers ain't told us nothing. Which one of your fathers brought you up in the truth? From a baby, from being born? I don't think so. Which we have heard and known, and our fathers have told us. They say, we will not hide them from their children, showing to the generation to come the praises of the Most High, and his strength, and his wonderful works that he hath done. Now, we don't know nothing about what we just read. We weren't taught that. That was us. You wasn't taught that. That was us, we the children of Israel. We're taught that we're Gentiles. Grafted in among who? That's the question. If you grafted in, you ain't never had the nerve to ask who you grafted in among. Oh yeah, you better ask somebody. Tell me y'all know what I'm talking about. They use that all the time. Oh yeah, you grafted in, you're Gentiles, grafted in. But you ain't have the nerve to ask who you were grafted in among. Couldn't be the Jewish people because they don't believe in Romans 11th chapter. They don't believe in the New Testament period. So, who are you grafted in among? Oh, you were grafted in among the ones he said that have no right to bring his covenant in their mouth. Listen. Verse 4. Psalm 84. We will not hide them from their children, showing to the generation to come the praises of the Most High and his strength and his wonderful works that he hath done. See? They ain't supposed to hide them. That's what we read about, the wonderful works. You know, some of the wonderful works that the Most High done and opened up the Red Sea. I mean, come on. And Moses turned it around, put his staff as the 600 chariots plus all the chariots of Egypt, However many that is. He turned around and put his staff like that, and the water closed it up on them through the power of the Most High. Through his angel, Hamashiach Yahushua. Excuse me. Oh, yeah. Praise his holy name. Wow. Verse 5. Listen at this closely and mark this. For he established a testimony in Jacob and appointed a law in Israel, which he commanded, that's an order, our fathers, is the law, that they should make them known to their children. So did we learn the laws as children? That's the commandment. Your mother, your daddy, your mama, or whoever you was raised by didn't teach you this. This is a commandment that we're supposed to tell our children these laws. Make them known to their children, that the generation to come might know them. Even the children which should be born, who should arise and declare them to their children. They're supposed to be raised up and declare these laws to the children, that they might set their hope in the Most High and not forget the works of the Most High, but keep his commandments. This is how we're going to come back to the Most High, by teaching these laws and commandments. It might not be as their fathers, a stubborn and rebellious generation. A generation that set not their heart aright, and whose spirit was not steadfast with the Most High. A lot of people, you look at this. Stubborn and rebellious generation, still to this day. A generation that set their heart not aright. Because you got to understand, you listening to me, unless there's somebody brand new, we always start out going to the throne of the Most High. He said, no man comes to the Father but by me. And every day we roll him as such. I hope that the Father can look down and send his holy angels to protect us and to give us the things that he already knows is necessary in this wicked land. I might say these wicked lands that we're scattered in, because they all under the same diabolical demonocracy, or the rule of the devil. Because he said all could be done if you bow down and worship me, so can't nobody gainsay on that. Because that's what they all doing, worshiping the devil. That's why even with our nation, we got children of the devil. You gotta read your Bible and really look at the spirit of people. People have spirits, and that's why when you don't recognize the spirit of the devil, you're in bad shape, because he appears as an angel of light. That's why we got to really, really look at this closely and deeply, so that we're not fooled by the works of the devil. You got to know. You got to know. You can't be slipping. That's why you got to go, and you can't just look at. You can't look at, otherwise you can go back to church. You want to go into all love, go back to the church. They'll teach you all about love, 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 love. And then when it's just wrath of the Most High come down on you, as we just read about, then what you going to do? Because it's coming. It's coming. What you think judge and make war means? He coming with rose petals and going to be throwing out flowers to everybody, roses to everybody, tipping through the tulips and all that. Now, you better wake up and get yourself ready, prepare your mind for what's going to go down. Every man hand against his neighbor. It's going to be war out here. It says in Psalm 78 and 7 that they might set their hope in the Most High. Put your faith in the Most High. And not forget the works of the Most High while Mashiach Yahushua, but keep his commandments. He said, if you love me, keep my commandments. And might not be as their fathers, a stubborn and rebellious generation. We don't want to be like this. You don't be stubborn, and you don't want to be rebellious generation. A generation that set not their heart, their mind aright, and didn't think right, and whose spirit was not steadfast with the Most High. And see, that's the whole thing. Our spirit got to be steadfast with the Most High if we're going to make it. If you're going to make it, your spirit better be steadfast with the Most High. And you better fear them. Be afraid of them. All you that's not afraid of them, you going to be afraid of them. Remember when you start seeing death and more death and more death and more death by the numbers, yeah, we're going to see who's going to be all proud and big time at that time and macho. Men or women. A lot of you women, you're macho too. Just like a man. Oh, he gonna make you bow down. You're going to bow down for sure. Everybody going to bow down. You think you stubborn and rebellious now, you better change. Because he's going to visit you. Look, verse 9. The children of Ephraim, being armed and carrying bows, turned back in the day of battle. They turned back. It was ready for war. Turned back in the day of battle. They kept not the covenant of the Most High and refused to walk in his law. So you wonder what happened to the 10 tribes? Yeah. They refused to walk in the Most High's law. Though they said they're going to come over here and follow the laws, or wherever they was at, they're going to follow the laws. No. They refused to walk in the law of the Most High and forgot his works and his wonders that he had shown them. Marvelous things did he in the sight of their fathers, in the land of Egypt, in the field of Zohan, like we just read about. He divided the sea and caused them to pass through, and he made the waters to stand up as a heap. We just read about it. In the daytime also he led them with a cloud, and all the night with a light of fire. He clave the rocks in the wilderness and gave them drink as out of the great depths. He brought streams also out of the rock and caused waters to run down like rivers. And they sinned yet more against him by provoking the Most High in the wilderness. So we sinned yet more against him by provoking the Most High in the wilderness. You hear this? We broke his laws. And they tempted the Most High in their heart by asking meat for their lust. Yeah, they spake against the Most High. They said, can the Most High furnish a table in the wilderness? Let's see what a Mashiach Yahushua can do. You believe in him? We must be Mashiach him. Let me see what he can do. Yeah, we going to the Most High. Let me see what he can do. Yeah, they spake against the Most High. They said, and the Mashiach Yahushua, because remember, he's there. Can the Most High, while Mashiach Yahushua furnish a table in the wilderness? Behold, he smote the rock, that the waters gushed out, and the streams overflowed. Can he give bread also? That wasn't enough. We thirsty, Moses? Okay, gave him water. Can he bring some food also? Can he bring bread also? Can he provide flesh for his people? Therefore, the Most High heard this. See, the Most High heard this. See, this big G and this O and this D predominantly talk about a Mashiach Yahushua. But it's the Most High too. Remember, the Mashiach Yahushua is the angel of the Most High. Verse 21, therefore, the Most High heard this and was wroth. So a fire was kindled against Jacob, and anger also came up against Israel, because they believed not in the Most High and trusted not in his salvation. Though he had commanded the clouds from above and opened the doors of heaven, and had rained down manna upon them to eat, and had given them of the corn of heaven. Man did eat angels' food. He sent them meat to the full, filled us up to our desire. He caused an east wind to blow in the heaven, and by his power he brought in the south wind. He rained flesh also upon them as dust, and feathered fowls, like as the sand of the sea, feeding us, taking care of us. And he let it fall in the midst of their camp, round about their habitations. So they did eat, and were well filled, for he gave them their own desire. They were not estranged from their lust, but while their meat was yet in their mouths, while they was eating, the wrath of the Most High came upon them and slew the fattest of them. Oh, you eating a whole lot, huh? You want a whole lot, huh? He slew the fattest of them. Uh-oh, watch out. And smote down the chosen men of Israel. Remember, he killed everybody but 2 people. Joshua and Caleb. But he smote down the chosen men of Israel. For all this, they sinned still. Sin, death. They still sin. They still sin. And believe not for his wondrous works. His wonderful works. His wondrous works. The Most High's wondrous works. They still didn't believe. Therefore their days did he consume in vanity, and their years in trouble. When he slew them, then they sought him. Here it is. In the New Order, some people, I'm telling y'all, get yourself right with the Most High. You hear what he said? When he slew them, when he killed us, then they sought him. When he put us to death, then we sought him. And they returned and inquired early after the Most High. And they remembered that the Most High, while Mashiach was their rock, and the high power their redeemer. So this is different. It said, and they remembered that Mashiach was their rock, and the high power, the Most High, their redeemer. You see that? That's 2 guys in that one verse. And they remembered that Mashiach was their rock. And the high power, who is the Most High, their redeemer. Nevertheless, they did flatter him with their mouth. I love you, Most High. They flattered with their mouth, and they lied unto him with their tongues, because they said one thing and did something different. For their heart was not right with him, neither were they steadfast in his covenant. It's very important, people. Remember, the Most High see everything. But he, being full of compassion, forgave their iniquity and destroyed them not. Yeah, many a time turned he his anger away. He did not stir up all his wrath. Many a time. Because he's compassionate, long-suffering, full of love for Israel. He forgave our sins against him. For remember that they were but flesh, a wind that passes away and cometh not again. Wow. Say, we ain't but flesh. Because when you die, that flesh goes right to the dirt. Back to the dirt where it came from. You say that's the wind that passes away and cometh not again, because that flesh ain't coming back again. That's it. He said, how often did they provoke him in the wilderness and grieve him in the desert, screaming it? Yeah, they turned back and tempted the Most High and limited the Holy One of Israel. So they turned back and tempted the Most High while Mashiach Yahushua, because he's there too. The angel of the Most High, Mashiach Yahushua, and limited the Holy One of Israel. Limited, put limitations on it. They remember not his hand. They didn't remember Mashiach Yahushua, nor the day when he delivered them from the enemy. See? They're like most people don't know him now when he come in the volume of the book. They don't know about Mashiach Yahushua. When you say you know your Jesus, but you don't know your Jesus because you don't know that. There he is right there. We just read about him. And we just read about how he's that rock. He's our rock. And we just read about in verse 35, and they remembered that Mashiach Yahushua was their rock. and the Most High, their Redeemer. Come on now. That's what we just read in 1 Corinthians 10:4. That we were led by that rock. Hamashiach Yahushua was that rock. That's why we gotta read about and learn about the Most High and look at what he did. That's why it says, verse 42, they remember not his hand, nor the day when he delivered them from the enemy. They remember Hamashiach Yahushua, our rock, when he delivered us from the enemy. How he had wrought his signs in Egypt and his wonders in the field of Zoan, and had turned their rivers into blood and their floods that they could not drink. He sent diverse sorts of flies among them, which devoured them, and frogs which destroyed them. He gave also their increase unto the caterpillar, and their labor unto the locust. He destroyed their vines with hail, and their sycamore trees with frost. He gave up their cattle also to the hail, and their flocks to hot thunderbolts. He cast upon them the fierceness of his anger, wrath, and indignation, and trouble, by sending evil angels among them. That's what he did. This is our power. He sent evil angels among them. He cast upon them the fierceness of his anger, wrath, and indignation, and trouble, by sending evil angels among them. See? That's why you understand what the Most High have on this earth. He just tell them to go make a move. And they ready. That's why it says in Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha 39:28, there be spirits that are created for vengeance. We just read about it, which in their fury lay on sore strokes. In the time of destruction they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them. Appease the wrath of the Most High, while Hamashiach Yahushua that made them. Because Hamashiach Yahushua, through the power of the Most High, made everything. Fire and hail and famine and death, all these were created for vengeance. See? Teeth of wild beasts and scorpions, serpents, and the sword, punishing the wicked to destruction. Where are they at? They shall rejoice in his commandment, in the Most High's orders, his rules and regulations. These spirits, they shall rejoice in his commandment, and they shall be ready where? Upon earth, when need is. And when their time is come, they shall not transgress his word. When the time to come, when the Most High need them, they shall not transgress his word. They're going to do exactly what he wanted to do. That's why it says, understand this. When you see all the things that he destroyed and how he did it through these spirits. Look, verse 49, Psalms 48, 78 and 49. He cast upon them the fierceness of his anger, wrath, and indignation, and trouble, by sending evil angels among them. See? This is what the Most High did. He made a way to his anger. He spared not their soul from death, but gave their life over to the pestilence, and smote all the firstborn in Egypt, the chief of their strength, in the tabernacles of Ham. Then you know that these Egyptians are of the seed of Ham, or we are the seed of Shem. They had us in captivity. Another dark nation holding another dark nation of Shem, the Israelites, in captivity, but made his own people to go forth like sheep, and guided them in the wilderness like a flock. And he led them on safely, so that they feared not. But the sea overwhelmed their enemies, we just read about. And he brought them to the border of his sanctuary, even to this mountain, which his right hand had purchased. He brought them to the border of his sanctuary, even to this mountain which his right hand had purchased. Remember, we're going to talk in parables and dark sentences. So he's giving you a clear indication that his right hand purchased that mountain. It was Mashiach Yahushua. Where is he at? On the right hand of the Most High. He cast out the heathen also before them, and divided them an inheritance by line, and made the tribes of Israel to dwell in their tents. He cast out the other nations. Heathen, all these other nations outside of the 12 tribes of Israel. He cast them out, people. Got rid of them. And made us, the children of Israel, dwell in tents. Just like you see Gad. He was in what they call teepees, tents. Remember, all 12 tribes was in the Egyptian captivity. So the things that in all 12 tribes was in the wilderness. So the things that we were doing in the wilderness, okay, when they came out of the Syrian captivity and going to the lands, that's why you see they had tents and so forth. They had the same knowledge that we had. They had the laws, but they learned the laws in the wilderness. And then after, we was all together until the Most High split the kingdom, and Jeroboam gonna make 2 calves and say, this is who brought us out of Egypt. And the Most High name is jealous. Don't get it twisted, people. That's why the Most High cast Israel away from him, first and foremost. And he was just dealing with Judah, Benjamin and Levi. He cast them away. But he still drawing them back in to be one stick. One stick. To be one. Verse 55, he cast out the heathen also before them and divided them an inheritance by line, and made the tribes of Israel to dwell in their tents. Yet they tempted and provoked the Most High power, and kept not his testimonies, didn't follow the laws, but turned back and dealt unfaithfully. They dealt unfaithfully. Like their fathers, they were turned aside like a deceitful bow. For they provoked him to anger with their high places, and moved him to jealousy with their graven images, idolatry. When the Most High, while Mashiach heard this, he was wroth and greatly abhorred Israel. When he heard this, what you say, son? What? He was mad with us and greatly hated Israel, so that he forsook the tabernacle of Shiloh, peace, and the tent which he placed among men, and delivered his strength into captivity, and his glory into the enemy's hand. Wow. That's how he thought of us. That's his strength and his glory. We the children of Israel. He delivered it to the enemy's hand. He gave his people over also unto the sword, and was wroth with his inheritance. And Israel is his Most High's inheritance. The fire consumed their young men, and their maidens were not given to marriage. They were passed around to all the nations, going into captivity. Their priests fell by the sword, and their widows made no lamentation. Then the Most High awaked as one out of sleep, and like a mighty man that shouteth by reason of wine. And he smote his enemies in the hinder parts. He put them to a perpetual reproach. Moreover, he refused the tabernacle of Joseph, and chose not the tribe of Ephraim. See, he refused, that's the northern tribes. And Ephraim was the head tribe of the northern tribes. But chose the tribe of Judah, the Mount Zion which he loved. That's why he chose the tribe of Judah to be the head tribe over all the 12 tribes of Israel. The Mount Zion which he loved. And he built his sanctuary like high places, like the earth, which he had established forever. He chose David, also his servant, and took him from the sheepfolds. From following the ewes, great with young, he brought him to feed Jacob, his people, and Israel, his inheritance. So he fed them according to the integrity of his heart, and guided them by the skillfulness of his hands. So that's what the Most High done. And that's just giving you an example of what we went through and how we have to look at, as it says, we inquire of our past. We don't want to make the same mistakes. That's why you have to change. We have to become that new creature. Because these are examples that we have that we don't want to be like that, because they didn't make it through. They didn't make it through. They did not make it out of the wilderness. Look at Ezekiel 20 and 33. Ezekiel 20 and 33. As I live, said the Most High power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, surely with a mighty hand, that mighty hand again, you see that hand, and with a stretched out arm, and with fury poured out will I rule over you. It sounds like a lot of love to me. And I will bring you out from the people, and will gather you out of the countries wherein ye are scattered, with a mighty hand, with a Mashiach Yahushua. That's coming in the mighty hand, being the mighty hand of the Most High, and with a stretched out arm, and with fury poured out to judge and make war. And I will bring you into the wilderness of the people, and there will I plead with you face to face. Mashiach Yahushua going to be right there, coming with the power of the Most High to plead with us face to face. Like as I pleaded with your fathers in the wilderness in the land of Egypt, so will I plead with you, said the Most High power. And the Mashiach Yahushua. So I will cause you to pass under the rod, and I will bring you into the bond of the covenant. That covenant was made with who? Abraham to Isaac to Jacob to the 12 tribes of Israel. And I will purge out from among you the rebels. So let you know that just because you made it on them chariots, you ain't safe yet. We ain't safe yet. Because he said he's going to purge out from among us the rebels and them that transgressed against me. So he's going to have some that think they're going to make it, and they're not going to be able to make it. Because the things that they're doing in this flesh is wicked. It's iniquity. They're breaking the laws of the Most High. Hear what he say? He's going to purge out from among us the rebels and them that transgress against me. That means you break his laws. I will bring them forth out of the country where they sojourn. He gonna bring us out of the country where we sojourn. Not no man saying come and leave America or leave wherever country you in or wherever land you in. He said he's gonna do that. I will bring them forth out of the country where they sojourn, and they shall not enter into the land of Israel. And ye shall know that I am the Most High. See? You're going to know, once again, that he is the Most High. So that's what we got to go through. And you don't want to be one of them rebels. You want to make sure that you're on point as much as possible as he brings forth this judgment that is written. So I'm going to open up the line for questions. If there's any questions, I had to mute the call.
Conversation mode is on. Everyone can now be heard.
Shabbat Shalom. Is there any questions or comments? Because it's just showing you from old to new how we got to go through the same thing. And see, the Most High purged out the rebels in the wilderness. So he killed everybody but Joshua and Caleb. So the same thing gonna happen. Just because you made it on the ships don't mean you made it yet. He gonna deal with us. Mashiach gonna deal with us face to face in the wilderness. And he gonna purge out those that's not gonna go to the land of Israel. They're not going. So Now we can imagine Wapan Yakadam, rise and face the east, send up the prayers, giving all praise and glory to the Most High. Ba'ashem Mashak Yahushua.